The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a Primal Lifestyle. With your hosts, Nico and Ellen Haan. Now, Nico and Ellen Haan.
Hey, good morning. I'm Nico Haan, and welcome to Living a Primal Lifestyle, where we explore a return to a more balanced and natural wild world.
To recover our natural health and regain our rights and freedoms. And good morning, I'm Ellen Haan.
It's a beautiful morning in downtown St. Petersburg, 70 degrees, clear skies, going up to 86 with a low of 68. It's a beautiful day, and summer is here.
Summer is here, yeah, but there was a nice little cool breeze
Yeah, there
as
is
we
still,
came in
yes.
this morning.
That's the nice thing about May. That's
yeah,
for sure.
That was nice. Yeah, it was really good.
I'd like to remind you, folks, of our Health Signals newsletter. I've got the copy that out. In fact, all the articles that we're talking about today are in the current newsletter, so you can do that. Just an announcement to make. We're going to be gone for a month, so in June there will be no shows. There will be no newsletters. We're going to pack it up and get out of here, and then from Durango we'll have a new show in July.
Get everything back on track.
Yeah. I'd like to remind you of our Primal Edge, our one-shot wonder. It's over 310 cell-ready ingredients, so all formulated with fulvic and humic acid to get the good stuff in.
And powers get the bad stuff out.
Yeah. So I thought today we'd talk about moving and where people are moving to, since we're in the middle of this whole thing. And
the impact of working from home and
everything kind of changed. It changed for us, and I think it's changing for a lot of people. And the evidence really shows that more Americans are leaving cities, but don't call it an urban exodus yet, they said.
Yeah, this is more like an urban shuffle, they said.
Yeah, the people are wanting to get out of the big cities like New York and San Francisco and Los Angeles. There's no doubt about that. And where they want to go to is the urban areas. With a little
outside of the urban areas. They're moving. Some of them are moving just outside of the big cities, and some of them are moving geographically completely relocated.
Yeah, this map kind of shows the orange is where people are moving from, and the green is where people are moving to. Yeah, so you can see they're really moving out in the country a little bit. And
what's interesting is
the natural reason
they're moving to central Florida, not southern Florida.
Yeah, they're moving more to Sarasota, Naples, down that way, Orlando
across
area.
The middle of the state.
Yeah, it seems like. Yeah. And in California, they're moving towards the midsection of the country.
Yeah, Stockton and Sacramento and places that have not, although they've been significant cities, they haven't been the desirable destinations.
Right.
Yeah.
So this article goes on to say that most movers don't go really too far. There's a little graphic in here showing the percentage, the top 50 metro areas, 6%, and the leaving the metro areas altogether is 7.5%.
No, that was 6% was leaving the metro area.
Oh, it is? Oh, to the top metro area.
Yeah. See at the top, 28% leaving. And then within the same state, people moved, about 7.5% of the people who moved. But then 84% moved within the same metro area, which is interesting. And I know I have cousins who are living in right outside Manhattan, and the desirable areas there, and they moved a little further out. Working from home, you don't need to worry about your commute or how you're going to get to work.
Yeah, this graph shows the metro areas that lost and gained during the pandemic. And you can see New York, they left, but so they go out to the country, and the same thing with San Francisco here. They go out to the middle of the state. A lot of people, of course, moving to the center of the country, too, like we are. Well, we're not really in the central, but
just slightly west.
Yeah. So where
one.
we're moving to, there's a 6.1% change in ratio of people moving in to moving out.
Yeah,
so it's still a small interesting phenomena. And I think the pandemic has really spurred people to think about making the change.
Yeah,
because we had talked about it for a long time, but it wasn't really until the pandemic we said, okay, let's do something.
Yeah, well, it wasn't because of the pandemic. It was because we determined how easy it was to
well, first of all, sell our house.
Well, yeah, the market was very good.
The market was good.
But it was also how easy it was to work from home, to have
Yes.
all the amenities, all the advantages, and not worry about it.
Yeah.
So it made sense in a new way, and it made sense also because the businesses are wrapping their heads around the ability of their workers to be productive, and as productive, if not more productive, at home.
Let's see, another graphic here that kind of shows the urban areas lost residents as the suburban areas gained residents during the COVID and pre-COVID, so that you can see there's something going on here. I don't know if I can see this on the screen because I don't see it on the screen, so I don't know what's going on here. There it is, good. Yeah, so during COVID, pre-COVID, you can see the different changes that are taking place here. Where Americans moved. There's another graphic here.
Yeah, and this one I'm looking at, it's Lakeland, Winter Haven, Florida, is where there's a very large center of people moving. But by the same token, people are still moving to Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Pompano Beach, so.
Yeah, definitely moving to our area, and that's why our market has been so good.
Yeah, and they're also still moving to, and they're moving to places like Allentown, Pennsylvania, and so out of maybe Philly and the big cities.
And it's interesting here where people in San Francisco are moving to. They're moving to Seattle, to Portland, to Eugene, Oregon. They're also moving to the countryside, up into the wine country, which makes a lot of sense, and down south of San Francisco, too. Those are beautiful areas.
Yeah.
Some of them are even moving to Los Angeles and San Diego.
Yeah, well, it may be that the property may become more affordable.
Yeah, San Francisco will be very high in property. And,
but if enough people are moving out, you may find that the prices are dropping a little bit. Yeah, and I'm looking at the Denver graphic. No, go back to the map, if you would, please, and go over to Denver.
That ability.
I don't know. Denver is
over here someplace.
Denver is showing people leaving, and they're going to Florida, including the Tampa area. Mm-hmm. They're going to, what is that, Arizona?
Yeah, probably Phoenix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see what it is.
Yeah, I can't get it up on the graph here.
It's Phoenix, Mesa, and Chandler. They're going south of there a little bit. So, and then they're also going to, let's see what else. They're going to LA and San Diego. So that's interesting. And they're going to, Seattle and Portland, Oregon. And so it's just moving out of the middle.
Yeah. Well, we did the move, too, and we're kind of glad we did. It's going to be a new life for us in a new place, and we really like that area, so it's good. I understand why people are moving, and it seems like the pandemic is one of the things that triggered this mass exodus, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So when we get back, we'll continue this. Stick around, folks.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com. Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
We got it. So we're talking about moves during the pandemic and even the trends that were starting before that and that have continued. And it's interesting because this article studies residents left big metros during pandemic for family. It's an interesting process because over the years, people had left their homes, their family homes where they had grown up, and moved on to a place where they could have a job opportunity. Yes. So the tech centers on the coasts.
Yeah, we've often talked that people leave home for work, for school, these types of things, meeting other people, of course, and getting married and things like that. But in the old days, it seemed like the people kind of stayed in one place. Even though you were married, you were probably marrying somebody outside your group, but maybe you went into their group. The women usually went with the men brought the women home. And that's all changing now. Our demographics have gone all over the place. We have all kinds of different marriages. We have all kinds of different people in different situations. And I think we've been split apart a long time. And the pandemic really, for me, really set home how valuable your family and friends are.
Well, that was the point. And a lot of people took the opportunity to go back to their family home, their ancestral homes, as it were, and get closer to family and be, especially if you have aging parents or something of that nature, and you were concerned about them during the pandemic.
So they took a study here, and this comes from AP, from Mike Snyder. He says the study found that, like Linder, many of the immigrants weren't really driven by new jobs or weather or even the fear of the virus, but a desire to be closer to family and a freedom to make it happen because of remote working. And this is the big part here. We found you remote worked about a year and a half before the pandemic started.
I did.
That set you up for success immediately. And what happened after that? The other year and a half, it really got everybody else comfortable with it, which is a huge thing because when your employer understands that you can work even more effectively from home, that's a big shift.
Oh, yeah.
Because the whole reason they come to work was to be supervised.
Well, keep an eye on you. Make sure you're doing work. But the conventional wisdom was that you were much more productive when you were sitting in the office, when in fact, I found I couldn't be as productive in the office. People constantly were interrupting me, or I would get up and, we're all social beings. We like to go chat for a minute. Before you know it, it's 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And, the concept of actually putting in the hours of work, what happened was, in fact, when people started working from home, they actually were more productive. They
worked longer hours.
They worked longer hours. They weren't watching the clock so much, and you don't realize the time goes by, and you're sitting at the computer, you're working on something.
Well, when you're at work, you're pressured. Okay, I need a break, so I need to take a break, go to the water cooler or whatever it used to be.
The
equivalent of. And now you're at home. You can take a break when you want to, and if you're intensely working, you don't want to take that break. You want to accomplish something, and you want to have that finished.
And be done.
Yes.
Again, then be able to get up and go about your business. Right.
Yeah, the data that they collected adds to the understanding of how the pandemic has changed where and how Americans live. The moves were most common among those with higher incomes and more job flexibility, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, of course.
If the trends continue to have long-term implications for real estate markets, tax bases, the wealth inequality in the cities, according to the researchers. So there's a lot involved here. Certainly, we found that the understanding of it, the understanding that you could work from home and be productive.
What enables me to pick up and go and continue practicing law in Florida and doing my job and working remotely.
That's what you've been doing for 2 years.
Part of it was that I've done it, but part of it is that the structure of the firm now understands that is something that works, and it's just accepted, and it's not even thought about, and nobody blinked an eye when I said I'm moving to Colorado, but I'm staying with the firm.
And if you're looking at it perspective from the people who own the businesses, the people who are the business, they're looking at expenses, less expensive. We can downsize, less air conditioning, less heat, things like that. Certainly less travel for the employees. So that's an expense. Going to and from work, gas, insurance, a car. Maybe some people will even do away with their automobiles, and that's a huge part of your budget.
Yeah, true.
Your home generally is about a quarter of your budget, but the car in the last 50 years, and for many people, have been also a quarter of the budget. People buy these big fancy cars and string the payments out for 6 years, and that's a big chunk of money. And if you don't need that, or if you can downsize that, that's a huge part of your money. And now you can take that money and invest it and maybe grow a little nest egg and things like that.
Yeah, or be able to afford to send your children to college, or all kinds of things you can do with that. And I think it also clearly depended on what kind of work you did. People who worked in an office regularly had no problem transitioning to a remote in kind of work. If you were a server in a restaurant, it's interesting because all the restaurants, everywhere you go, they're looking for labor.
Yeah.
They're hiring.
Yeah.
And part of you had said initially, when all the distributions of cash were going out to the people who had lost their jobs and so on, that so many of these
well, if you're living from paycheck
servers,
to paycheck and all of a sudden you're getting money in the mail, then you're still in that same vein. You're living through that paycheck. You don't have to go to work because you got a paycheck from the government.
Right.
I'm not saying that as a negative thing either. I think everybody, people, there's great inequality here as far as wages and as far as how people live.
The question,
and everybody deserves to have that minimum amount of money.
Right. Well, and the key here is, are they going to go back to work if they've got this money coming in from the government and they don't actually need to go back to work in terms of paying the rent? And then we have the...
So now you can work in your passion, perhaps, a little bit better. It's easier to transition. Now I'm going to go work where I like it, where I want to, the things I have a passion for. So I'm going to be productive. At the same time, I'm going to be very happy because I'm doing what I love.
Yeah, well, that's a very small percentage, as it turns out.
That's true.
And a lot of people have just said, this is great, I don't have to work. But what's very interesting is, since I'm active with Habitat for Humanity, we have a 1.4% delinquency rate on our mortgages. That is incredibly low. And what happened was, so many of our homeowners took their checks and prepaid on their mortgages.
Be safe and
because that's how much the house meant to them.
Yeah.
And, so we found that fascinating because we were a little concerned, obviously. And also it's interesting because a lot of our homeowners are in the medical field of some kind. So they were still essential workers.
And of course, if you're at home more, you value that space more, and you're going to invest in that more, and that makes a lot of sense.
If you're in the Habitat program, your life has become about getting your house and breaking the cycle of poverty and creating a legacy for your children and a safe environment. And it's a whole different mindset than somebody who's just like, I need to rent an apartment, and someplace to put my stuff.
Okay, so when we get back, let's talk about some of the benefits that we derive from this mass exodus from the city. So stick around, folks. We've got a lot more.
You've heard Nico Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And welcome back. So because of this mass exodus from cities, some aspects of our cities and the metropolitan areas will be reshaped depending on how long the current pandemic lasts. People, fear of density of the subways, of the trains in particular, plus a desire for safer, more private surroundings, pull people to these, these suburban...
Out of the urban set core.
Yeah, and to a term that's called the new heartland. And the old heartland was really what? The farm next...
The flyover states that they called them in the middle of the country, where where the grain was raised and the cattle and the farms and, sort of.
But now the heartland is a lot larger. It's an aspect from the Rocky Mountains all the way into Ohio and Philadelphia and things.
It's kind of just not the East Coast, not the West Coast, and not the West. Yeah, not the mountains.
Yeah, where we're going.
But it starts sort of at where we traditionally, from North Dakota to Texas, and then over, but not New England.
Right.
And
so that's what they call the New Heartland.
The New Heartland, but the New Heartland is really also just not only the farms, but also people moving there and companies relocating there and tech companies relocating there, manufacturing, things like that. So it's not the traditional heartland.
Right, and it has to do really with the remote working trend, which makes these city dwellers think, okay, I can go someplace else, maybe to a smaller, maybe more affordable cities, maybe more spacious cities, maybe more, they want to take advantage of working remotely. And if you're going to work remotely, why not do it in a place you've always wanted to be? Mm-hmm. I've said that the reason I came to Florida, the reason I went anywhere was either school or work. Had nothing to do with my desire to be in Colorado. I had an uncle in Colorado. When I visited him, I said, why am I not here? Well, I don't have a job here.
Right.
So that's what kind of changed our minds. Well, wait a minute. We're retiring. We don't have really the job. And
I'm not retiring.
You're not retiring, but I'm not either in a sense because I'm going to be teaching jiu-jitsu. We're still going to be doing the show. And the research for being healthy continues. And that's why the show is going to continue. I want people to understand what health really means for them. And I want to understand it too. And it's been my lifelong quest. I'm going to continue this because I want to live another 25, 30, 40, 50 years. And I want to live it in an active, healthy way. And that's the whole key to it all.
And they're also saying that people are, cities are not going to be abandoned wastelands like some science fiction movie. Mm-hmm. But they may be less dense in population, less crowded, less traffic on the road. So they are much more pleasant environments.
Well, this brings me kind of thinking to the old monuments that we see scattered around the world. Other cultures take them over. You find a big pyramid in the middle of the deserts, and I'm sure the Egyptians found those things, and they started using these things. And that's the same thing I think that's going to happen to our cities. Yeah, we're going to take this big building that used to be an office building and nobody's in it, maybe make it a nice place for the homeless. We can reimagine how these cities can work. Okay. I really believe that.
Okay. That sounds good.
Yeah. There are upsides to living in a city in a future with a less urban-centered population. Are there upsides? I think there's advantages for those employees who prefer a boardroom, or would you prefer a Zoom call? A lot of people are preferring now that Zoom call because it's easier. You don't have to leave. You don't have to really get dressed except from the waist up. Those kind of things.
Well, there is something called Zoom fatigue that people are experiencing, but we've gotten used to it in a way. And it really is, it's helpful to keep the group together. Our Zoom call 9 o'clock in the morning from the firm, just everybody's there, they're up, they're working.
It starts your day.
And they have an opportunity to say, okay, does anybody need anything? Yeah. And what to look out for and whatever. But so I think it will be a hybrid going forward, that there will be. And they're talking in these articles about the fact that they're going to have more spaces in the offices for collaborative thinking, for small group meetings, shared workspaces, and so on. And they were also talking about moving. Having things like in an apartment complex, having a shared workspace, that it may evolve. There's a lot of pressure on the women who have the bulk of the home teaching and the homeschooling for the kids through the computer, plus still cooking and still trying to do their own work and so on. And they're talking about not daycare centers, but areas where the children can gather together within a complex so that it becomes more like the commercial complexes that had amenities built in, like game rooms and things of that nature. So
yeah.
Kind of interesting.
Well, you could see maybe even going back to where a company says, okay, let's provide housing.
Yeah, that would be the company store where back.
Well, it used to be the slave owners used to do that, but I mean, in a reimagined world, if you have a company that you needed people there, maybe it would be easier just to have their home very close instead of all the commute and everything like that. So,
yeah,
I think a lot of changes are going to take place.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with these subway trains and these buses and all the trains? Well, we don't have a lot of trains. In fact, we had some friends over the weekend, and we were talking, where's that bullet train between Orlando and Tampa? That was 20 years proposed, and now when you take I-4, it's a nightmare. It takes you 3 hours to make a 2-hour trip. And that's every single
accidents.
Yeah, and it's not just during the work week. It's also on Sunday because of the parks and Disney and Universal and things like that. It's getting to be a nightmare, and certainly one of the reasons that we're leaving is because of traffic. That's the reason I had left L.A. too. So
yeah, and it's getting more expensive to live in this, much more expensive to live in the cities, and it's not within people's reach sometimes.
So are we going to see the prices drop in the cities now that people are leaving?
Well, that's an interesting question. And according to all these articles, there's no mass abandonment of the cities.
Right.
So in the short term, I think we're not going to see very much change.
Right.
But it may eventually when people are... Plus, going back to the town where you grew up, sometimes, or the area where you grew up, it's a comfort, and it's an opportunity to reconnect. And
it may not be what you think it is too.
Well, that's always the problem, because you really can't go back.
Yeah.
You know, it's never the same as you remember, and you're not the same as you were when you left.
Well, I'm thinking that later life is about dreams and about dreaming and things like that, and that's where we went. We said, okay, where would we really want to live? And we made our decision based on that because we could, and that was a big thing.
We were talking about, is it possible that the trend would be, as it was at the turn of the 19th century, where you stayed near your family and all the extended family got together at holidays and so on, and are we going back a little bit more to that so that people are living closer to their families?
Well, we see our children. Our children are pretty much in one area of Michigan altogether. Yeah, it's 20 miles apart, but they're all there. And that's a great thing for them. It's unfortunate for us. Hopefully they'll start coming to Colorado. So that's the way I think. So we got a little more, another segment coming up. We're going to be talking about reimagining the office and work life after COVID. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based, vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
COVID-19 has brought unprecedented human and humanitarian challenges. Many companies around the world have risen to the occasion, acting swiftly to safeguard employees and migrate to a new way of working that even the most extreme business community continuity plans hasn't envisioned. Across industry, leaders will use the lessons from this large-scale work-from-home experiment to reimagine how work is done and what roles offices should play in creative and bold new ways.
Yeah, and before the pandemic, the whole conventional wisdom was, well, you have to have a beautiful office, and in order to attract the top talent, and in a desirable building with a great location, and it was important, and it was... that was the way things were done. It was the office was everything. And if you wanted to get the best and the brightest to come into your firm, your company, you had to have a special office space.
It was also, from the management point of view, it was nothing better to go into your office and see your people working. Everybody's happy, everybody's productive, and you're going, oh, man, I'm doing a good job. That's what you want, certainly.
Well, once the pandemic started, people closed, and the offices closed, and about 62% of employed Americans worked at home during the crisis. Yeah. And it says that, and that was compared with about 25% a few years before that. So that's quite a big jump. That's more than double. Yeah, according to McKinsey research, the 80% of the people questioned report that they enjoy working from home. 41% they say they're even more productive than they had been before, and 28% say they are as productive. So that's, you add that up. 69% of the people were more productive or as productive working from home. Yeah, and we know how it works. If you're not productive, you're not going to be around a long time, so you purge the people who are not productive out. Well, but a lot of people were then motivated to be productive because they were concerned about losing their jobs. Yeah. So that was important. And I'm sure they realize that too. But the interesting thing is now, if you've got workers who are coming in remotely, they don't need to be in the office. You can do video. There's all kinds of platforms for video conferencing and collaboration online and keeping track of what you're doing too, and tracking. Yeah. And you can get people from anywhere. And the person doesn't have to relocate from where they're living in order to come work at your company. Yeah. This opens up a whole new dynamic for finding quality employees, too. I think it's easier to track what's going on, too. I know in the old days when I was working for corporate America, one thing I always did was a daily report. In other words, all the activities that I did for the day were written on a sheet of paper and given to my direct boss and probably his boss, too. This way, I knew they knew my value because it was in paper, and I can always go back and say, this is what I did when. And now that's a good time for these employees to start keeping track of what you're doing so you can show, look,
This is what I'm doing. It's not just the results, because we know in many companies, and especially in sales, your results aren't immediate. They are cumulative.
Well, and then there's the aspect of, did the working from home succeed because people thought it was temporary? It was, and there was some kind of novelty, you know, involved in doing it, because it was not something they did before.
Yeah.
So, and they were always planning to go back to the office. Yeah. So we have to take into consideration the culture of working in the company, the camaraderie of your co-employees. You know, last Friday we had a little picnic outdoors at a park, and got everybody together for the first time since end of March 2020. And it was just so nice to sit together. Well, we've been on Zoom calls together, and we've seen each other that way every single morning, you know. And
but it's different when there's human contact.
Different.
Yeah.
It was just so good to just physically be in their presence. Now everybody's being respectful, but it was a lovely, and it reminded us all that we enjoy working together, and we like each other.
One of the things that this article has is 4 different steps that you can take to reimagine work and workplace. And the first thing is reconstruct how the work is done.
Yeah, so that's organizations have to identify the most important processes for each business, geography, function of their business, and re-envision them. And the key is, you know, when you have people on a Zoom call or you have people on a platform of some kind, they get to express their opinions in a much more meaningful way than if they were just sitting in their offices. And so they're getting lots more involvement and input from the employees.
Yeah. Previously, for example, organizations may have generated ideas by convening a meeting, brainstorming on a physical or digital whiteboard, and assigning someone to refine the results. You know, it's the process we went through. Now there's a new process, may include a period of brainstorming on a digital channel, incorporating ideas that go across the whole organization, followed maybe by a period of debate and refinement in an open, like, video conference. And organizations are going to try to reflect some of their values and cultures on those interactions.
And they may need to make some adjustments to those things, and really look at what they're doing and what their goals are and how they go about getting to those goals. So, and a lot of the things they're doing are probably just fine, and they can reconstruct those and maybe refine them a little bit or strengthen them a little bit. But, all right, number 2 is decide people to work or work to people. Yeah, what does that mean? That's what we're talking about. People willing to relocate to go physically to the office.
And also people are self-motivated to do the work. Naturally. So if some people are going to probably be fully remote because they are able to do that and very effective. But if you're not, maybe you're asked to report a couple of times a week, just to go over things because you're not as stable as the person who's really productive.
Or you can work at home part-time and go to the office and do your collaboration. So that's kind of a hybrid. Then we have a hybrid remote by exception, meaning you mostly you go in, but you can work from remotely if you have to.
But you're not really good at it, so that's why.
Or it's we need you to be here for whatever reason.
Well, certainly in the service industry, you're going to have to be to work, and if you're doing construction,
and manufacturing, you have to be to work.
So that makes sense. Number 3 is redesign the workplace to support organizational priorities. So this is, you're going to have better access to things that you need immediately, which you may not even think of. I can't think of anything at the moment.
Well, what they're talking about here is the spacing of, instead of having a jammed up, a whole bunch of cubicles right on top of each other, they're talking about spacing out workspaces, maybe sharing them, rarely calling group meetings so that people don't feel uncomfortable being with too many people in the room.
Or maybe you can just have, everybody has an office and you can still remote.
Yeah.
Even though you're there.
Yeah, and it was interesting because I've heard several times from companies that are purchasing laptops, giving every employee a laptop. Obviously, these are office workers, giving them a laptop. Then they plug it at home or they plug in at the office, they're good to go.
Yeah. Stick around, folks. We got a little more.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks!
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
We're talking about moving and working from home and changes to the environment. And, you know, we were talking about moving for about 3 years, way before all this happened.
Right.
And we're just ready for a change of scenery and a change of routine. And you know, there are a lot of studies, and we've talked about this on other shows, a lot of studies have been done to show that making a change like this is extremely good for your brain.
Yeah.
That it helps you adapt to new situations. It's good for creating new pathways. It keeps you young.
It's a new part of our life. You know, we're kind of semi-retired, and we've got a lot more time on our hands, and we want to spend it in a nice area
We
of the
don't
country.
have time on our hands. We have time.
We sure do. And we're really going to enjoy it, too. And, you know, we're going to continue the show. It'll be about a month before we get back on the air. Got to figure this whole thing out remotely. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be a challenge. And we'll
One
be
more
bringing...
thing we can do from home.
Yeah, that's for sure. And we'll bring you along for the ride, too. So won't hear from us for about 30 days, but after that, we'll be talking about health and how to stay healthy and what to do when situations come up that compromise that, because it's really important to understand it's always a process. You're always adjusting. You're always finding new things. And today, we have a lot more ammunition to work with a lot more knowledge to work with of how the body works. This new virus that came about spurred us on to a new way of vaccines that seem to be working. I've been talking to a good friend of mine who was involved in the project, and he really convinced me that this is something that is probably really good instead of really bad. So I think it's good, and we're very, very hopeful, and we're delighted to be moving just because it's going to be a big change, and we're going to be in the area of the country that we can do a lot of things that we want to do. And at the same time, we're still going to be continuing working with TFNN, and we really value Tom O'Brien and his son Tommy and everybody here. They give us a lot of support, and we really enjoy the collaboration. So we will continue that.
So meanwhile, be healthy, be safe, and be mindful during the time we're gone, and we'll see you in a month.
Bye-bye.